Welcome to Brand You.
The ultimate personal branding podcast.
I'm Caz Grant.
And I'm Toby Lee.
Together, we're here to help demystify personal branding
and to make it accessible and effective for everyone.
Follow along as we guide you through creating your own personal branding journeys.
So, let's get started.
Let's brand you.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Brand You podcast. It's great to have you here. So on the last episode, we were looking at how do you build an army of loyal followers? How do you build that audience of the right people for you and your services? And today we're going to be talking about how do you now start selling subtly to them? How do we turn them from being people that follow us and engage now and then with content to actually buying into our services and becoming customers? So where do we start with this, Kate?
Yeah, big topic. I think let's start with the old school ways of doing stuff. Let's look at how selling used to be done.
Yeah.
And why maybe that now doesn't work.
Yeah.
So obviously, like the old school way, and I say old school because actually we were discussing this before. It's not actually that old.
If we're talking about the context of like selling habits online.
Online, yeah.
And social media's influence on that pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, social media hasn't been going along that long.
No.
So when we say old school, we mean, a few years ago, or even last year, the year before. People are still doing it now. So, the old ways of doing it that no longer work.
Yeah.
And then let's look at the new ways of doing it that do work a bit better. So the old school ways were very salesy, weren't they? All of the graphics that you'd create, all of the content that you'd put out would be very kind of advertising like, and it was clear that you were selling something, selling. The calls to actions on posts and things like that would be like, buy now, buy through my link in bio, all of this stuff.
Really
it's like
direct.
buy. Yeah, really direct, buy. Whereas actually now we're moving away from that a bit because again, people have got a sales resistance.
Yeah.
So we see some of these telltale signs. We see the corporate graphics. We see the not storytelling, but the sharing in a salesy way, the buy my stuff, that this is all about my product. And then it's like, this barrier goes up and we're like, oh no, this is just an advert. Like, no, I don't want it, don't need it. Let's just move on. People just swipe and scroll past. And then they don't end up looking further than maybe your hook. They don't end up diving further into it. There's no story to grip them. There's no reason for them to be looking at it. There's no education or anything. So they just stop and then scroll past. And then what they'll do is they'll get somebody else that is doing it in the right way, maybe your competition, and actually they choose that way instead. So old school is kind of not dead, but it's more ineffective, I'd say.
Yeah.
And that's why personal branding can be more powerful when it's done in the right way, because you're humanizing it all. You're storytelling, you're sharing value, you're doing all of that. You're doing calls to action, but they're more conversational than buy my stuff. So again, it's putting the barriers down to that sales, pulling the barriers down. No sales resistance here. I'm curious. I'm intrigued. I'm going to soak up what you've got to say. I'm going to feel like you've given me something because it's been valuable. Then if I need what you're having to offer, I might be a bit more curious. I might start a conversation with you. I might ask for some more information from you because I feel safe to do that because you're not just instantly going to sell me something and trap me into
Because I think social media becoming, as it's grown, has become a platform where obviously we can reach people so fast, and I think that's where it became a bit hard sell in that everyone wants to offer promotions because it's another way to reach people easily. And I think I was definitely guilty in the early years of being on like Instagram and things of, here's 20% off if you sign up today, and here's, and those kind of things. And I guess we just become, we overconsume, don't we? And we then build that immunity and build that barrier up. And it is interesting how things have evolved now that our content needs to align with how behaviors are changing. You know, as soon as the tail off from that sort of content and behavior drops down, we need to find another way now of communicating and reaching with people, don't we?
Yeah. And I think just the amount of content, the amount of competition. I mean, you want to go and buy a washing up liquid or something. Like, there are hundreds of washing up liquids.
Yeah.
So what makes you go with them and not somebody else? Like, there's just so much choice and overwhelm, and people end up like just going with the first thing that they see. They're a bit confused with stuff. They maybe just are too overwhelmed. They don't buy anything or do anything or act on anything. So we've got to kind of stand out from the crowd as well, haven't we?
Yeah,
in
definitely.
order to sell effectively to them, again, in a nice way.
One thing I find really interesting is that as people are using AI more and more to generate their content, particularly with like the copy and the phrasing of things, like ChatGPT, for example, is based on the resources it has out there. You know, it can only know what it's learnt, and it's learnt from our previous behaviors, hasn't it? Our kind of consumer patterns and things like that, that I find personally, if I try to use it to give me examples of social media content, the call to actions are always so direct, almost borderline cringy, and things that I would never even dream of saying about, you know, I'm trying to think of examples now, but you know, even just as simple as like, so if, you know, if your headshot is out of date and you need to, you know,
It's like an advert.
yeah,
Like a cheesy advert.
yeah, a cheesy, terrible advert. Like, and it only knows what it knows, so it is going to produce that kind of stuff. So it's down to us to modify, but that kind of hard call to action just doesn't sit right with us anymore, does it?
Yeah. And I think that's it. The new softer kind of side to selling, the new subtle selling side of it. It's using that trust building element a bit more, that story sharing, getting to know your audience, offering them value as well. So lots of education and value and things that are going to be helpful and useful to them. So then the law of reciprocity, you've given out lots, you'll get some of that returned back to you.
Yeah.
And then also your calls to action softer calls to action, but also maybe more conversational. Because again, a lot of sales doesn't actually happen on the surface of social media.
Yeah.
A lot of sales will happen behind the scenes in the message, especially with personal branding, because you'll have that relationship built up with your audience and your following. A lot of it will happen behind the scenes in DMs and stuff like that, in direct messages. So, you know, if you've got a softer call to action, a bit more of a conversational one, that moves people easier into the behind the scenes. And again, where you can ask them more about their problems, more about what they want to achieve and their goals, and really gear what you're offering to them based off of what they definitely need.
Yeah.
That will actually help them as well. So that way of selling nowadays is more prevalent. And again, with ChatGPT, I mean, it's on the old school ways still, isn't it? So it hasn't kind of got that call to action soft side yet.
Yeah.
But in another 5 years' time, when it's learned, well, not even that long, because it's learning at a rate of knots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe in a year's time, maybe again we'll see an evolution of the calls to action, and that'll be changed a bit again into more conversational ones. Like, how do you feel about this problem or this issue? Oh, interesting. You can go in then and have a chat with them about it. Like, why did you say that? What made you say that? And oh, that's really interesting that you said. How did that make you feel? Draw more information out of them.
And softer call to actions, just to kind of put a bit of clarity on the definition. Like, my understanding is, you're not saying click here to buy. That's a hard call to action. So anything soft could be asking of some form of engagement, isn't it? It could be hit like if this is you, if you feel the same way, or leave a comment, or just asking for some sort of way of interacting. Because I think some brands can be really pushy and just be constantly asking too much, or even sometimes individual users of things like LinkedIn and that, constantly asking for engagement. And whilst it might be effective for a part of their audience, it could also sort of stimulate a large part that go, oh, you know, they scroll on past it because they're asking for stuff of me again. You know, we don't really like being asked of too
all the
much, do
time.
we? Yeah.
Especially if we're not getting anything in return.
Yeah, that's right.
You've given me a lot of value from your content, and you have shared some real expertise with me and stuff. When you ask for something from me, I'm potentially going to give it more.
Yes, true, yeah.
Because I've got so much from you.
Yeah.
Yes, that might take a longer term for me to get there, but it's better than just alienating me altogether and then I'm off your channel because I don't want to see it anymore. It's just too pushy. So again, it's almost playing that longer game with it, isn't it? And you do see, and a lot of people are out there and they're like, oh, I've got low engagement, or I haven't got this on my feed, like I just don't understand it. Have a little look at the posts that you're sharing and all of them, because in a row, how many have had click my link, buy my thing, course, this, that, and the other, all about me, what I'm selling. Was there any value in any of that for anybody else? You've just potentially asked people in the last 10 posts to buy your thing 10 times in 10 different ways. That's probably, after the third post, they're not going to be looking at your other 7 posts because they've switched off from you, and they just know now when something pops up, it's going to be wanting something from them again.
As a viewer, you kind of, you feel like it's more about them than it is about you, the potential client.
Yeah.
And therefore it becomes easy to become passive to it then.
Yeah.
And just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, a great kind of subtle selling thing that you can look at doing is answering some of your top questions that you get from your clients or potential clients already in your content.
Yeah.
Because again, it's offering them value, it's offering them something, but you are potentially then being that person that solves their issue, that person that, understood their issue, understands their blockage of things, and maybe you can move me past it. So that's a really good way of doing it. And we all get so many different questions all the time, don't we, that are similar from our audience or our potential clients, that we're like, oh, there's 5 things that everybody asks me all the time. There's 5 things that everybody asks you all the time. Answer some of those things in your content.
You can be helping and connecting with people by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Such
and then
useful information to know.
And then again, when it comes time for them to be ready to buy, they will give to you and they will get your services or your products because you've given so much to them. So I think the law of reciprocity now is a big one, and I think giving on social media is beneficial in all kinds of ways for everybody involved. Just think, how much have I given today? And obviously there's a bit of a thing that I read the other day about like marketing at the moment. Everybody is talking about like the know, like, and trust. And I think it was Daniel Priestley that said, in marketing, we know it's the know, like, and trust. If everybody knows, likes, and trusts you, people will buy from you. But actually with social media now, I'm following, you're following, we're all following a lot of people that we know, or we feel like we know. We definitely trust them. They'd be great. Like I'd go to the pub with them. I'd go like hiking with them. That's a lot of trust to go hiking with them. But then do I actually buy their stuff? Well, maybe not. But again, like looking at that, like what are we missing nowadays that, again, in like the subtle art of selling in the future, in 2, 3, 4 years time, we're going to go, oh my gosh, they know, like, and trusted us, but to get them over that line of buying from us, we just needed to make our calls to action a little bit more subtle, like instead make them more conversational, give them more value, and things like that. Like, what's it going to be in a few years time? Because the evolution of this as well, it's not just static, is it? Personal branding and getting customers and generating customers and sales. There's always something to learn, isn't there?
Yeah, it's interesting that our behaviours are always changing. And we grow immune to things. So then we have to mix up how we deliver it and try and provoke some sort of new response, don't we?
Yeah.
Wonder what that will be.
There was a phase of like everyone's now, now we need to do email marketing because
Yeah,
that's the way that we get sales now. Oh no, now we need to do this, now we need to do that. So again, it's keeping up with the trends with it all as well, isn't it? And keeping up to date on what kind of things are coming out. And again, having that mind where you're thinking, right, what I'm doing this a lot at the moment. With my housemate, we feel in a bit of limbo with stuff. With our side businesses, we're feeling a bit in limbo with it. So we're analysing. We don't know the answers yet. We haven't got it quite perfectly figured out. There's missing jigsaw pieces that we just need to find. But we're starting to ask ourselves the questions, and we're starting to look at what we're doing and what we're producing and what we're putting out, and the conversations that we're having, and the calls, all of the things. And we're starting to think, and even within ourselves, like our energy, how we're coming across, like how we're feeling, because energy is a thing as well. If we're talking about selling, if you created a personal brand and you've got this frontage to your personal brand, but then your energy is so low and you're feeling low and you've not got a belief in yourself or anything, that is going to come out through your content. And also when you go networking, you meet people face to face, they're going to feed off that energy as well. And then actually, would somebody buy from you because your energy's off a little? There's a mismatch. And like, we want to buy from people who are confident with what they're offering, who have that positive energy about them, who have that, I will get shit done for you and I will make it work and I've got this. If you're a bit of the lower energy when you're selling, they're not quite going to get over that line because they're going to feel like you're maybe not going to deliver on what I need you to deliver, or your product's not going to be the best. Because it's just something.
Well, we're very intuitive, aren't we, when it comes to judging characters and first impressions, and we do pick up on those things. I agree, And maybe it's a case of just seeing where your energy is. How can you turn that into something authentic? You know, even if it might feel off-brand, that authenticity could actually be something that does actually get someone over the line or make a connection that you weren't expecting to make.
I've seen a few people actually that have kind of shared a bit more real and raw when they're going through something a bit more challenging or they're figuring stuff out. And what previously they might have been worried, thinking, oh gosh, if I share this part of me, this side of me, no one's going to buy from me or do business with me because why would they type thing. But they've shared it, they've done it, they've got brave with it because they couldn't fake it, and why should they fake it? And they've got business from it, which has turned things around, and then again has led into them getting more energy and being better again, and like it all circulating for them. So again, there's a fine line and a balance between going on Instagram crying your eyes out for no reason and like just being overtly like, oh woe me, and
pushing things on people,
and being a bit too dramatic with it and a bit like fake with your pain almost. So again, it's being real with it.
I think we see if people are using their pain or their emotion for self-gain. We see through it.
Yes.
It's
Again, the energy,
real,
like
isn't it?
being real with it.
But that is the power of the personal brand, that you can be vulnerable and show that. And it you know, if it is true and it is honest and it is genuine, like your right audience are gonna acknowledge that.
And at our hearts or our core, we're humans, and the majority of us do want to help people out. A lot of there's always like people that don't want to do good and don't want to help people. There's always them, but that they're in the minority. The majority of people want to help others, even if it's like a referral to someone else or a connection request that you connect someone with, or oh, you could buy this or have this or do this or let me. So people want to help you as well. So if you are wanting to sell and you're needing the sales, because if you have a business as well and you need the money through it, you obviously you've got mortgage, you've got kids, whatever. Actually, again, being vulnerable and sharing some of that might then lead to people wanting to help you and getting you through that tough part. So then again, people might buy from you because, again, not to use that to do that, but asking for help is never a bad thing, is it? I struggle really bad with asking for help. I am the worst at it. So this is something that I am sharing, but also trying to practice what I
Yes.
preach
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
recent times. Like, it's not easy. So I understand that sometimes it's just like personal branding, isn't it? Sometimes showing off on camera, showing your face, being vulnerable, being authentic is difficult. Also, so is asking for help and some of the other stuff. We've all got our things that we need to move past in order to make this all work and our personal brands work for us. But isn't it worth trying and just exploring? And again, thinking, like myself and my housemate recently, we've been having real good conversations and kind of asking why. Like, we know there's certain things missing. We haven't got it figured out yet. We can't just deny, oh, this is just fixed. So it's having those conversations, looking at what we're doing and just seeing, like, is there a better way? What are we missing? And just asking for those answers almost to come through as well.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like giving value is a bit of a buzz term.
Yeah.
Like, everyone, we're encouraged to share content that is valuable to people and to give value and share value. However, I do feel like sometimes people think they're doing that when they might not necessarily be. And so a good way to kind of check this and, you know, check your own content, what you're putting out. Think of yourself as the guide character rather than the hero.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's actually about your potential customer. Make them the hero. So in any phrasing of what you're sharing, or even the ideas of what you might be sharing, if you're wanting to give value, think about what is valuable to them, what is going to help them, and you as the expert can guide them down that way. So this is something that I kind of like to do because I guess in what I do with photography, my clients usually have certain anxieties or fears about going in front of the camera. So that creates lots of, ideas for me to be sharing about parts of the journey, parts about getting in front of the camera, parts about getting in front of the studio, into the studio, about what to wear on your photos. All these elements are kind of good content ideas where I can guide people towards the answer of those and keeping them as the focus of like, it's about you. If you kind of flip on its head and think of the audience of your own content, you know, and what would you take from that and how would you relate to that? I think that's a really useful way to kind of move forward.
Yeah. And I saw one of your videos the other day and it was all about like positioning yourself, and you were saying about, you were like literally in front of the camera yourself, and you were saying about how, was it different angles and how you sat?
Yeah, we were trying to get different looks. What looks more serious and what looks more...
Yeah, and you just share, like, I don't know many photographers that share that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a session with somebody and then they start explaining it.
Yeah.
But how about taking what you do in a session, that mystery, if nobody's been to a photography session before, they don't know. So to get that person to there first, explain some of what happens before. So something like that. And it wasn't just me. I was talking to somebody else as well, and they were like, oh, Toby's video the other day was really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I love the way that he showed it. I never thought about that before. So that's not just me looking at it thinking, oh, that was a great video. That's like other people have resonated with that as well and really liked the value that you gave in that video. And it was a short video, wasn't it? It didn't...
It was only like 30 seconds or
30
something.
seconds long. Yeah, so short, sweet.
Yeah.
Didn't take you anything to kind of curate that in a... I didn't need a video production team or anything like that. You know, it's quite a simple one to make, but a really powerful one. And you were guiding your audience. You were guiding the people that might then want to come in. And I would, if I didn't know you, I would see that and think, oh, I'm going to go to Toby because he's going to make me feel comfortable. But he knows also what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's just given me some information there. So he clearly knows like how I should set. I don't know how to do it. But it's not my job to know how to do it. It's your job to tell me. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
So I guess like that kind of hero guide thing, I've achieved what I thought I would be achieving if I was playing the hero. You know, that kind of response from my audience.
Yeah.
But actually, I've achieved it by being the guide, positioning yourself as the expert in what you're sharing. Yeah. And the ideas I get for sharing things about photography and like, say, that example about posing for the camera, it's not stuff that I would expect people to know, clients, or necessarily want them to know coming in, because I want to be able to work with them and direct them, but it's just showing them a little snippet of that. And I find we have preconceived ideas about certain occupations, whether it's accountancy or you know, other professional services. Of I don't need to know how it's done because I'll just go to them and give it to them. But actually, there's so much content if you are an accountant, if you are a lawyer or a will writer or anything like that. You know, there's so much you can be showing about what you do and how you do it that actually it's informative. It is sharing value, but actually is also going to increase the chances of them coming to you when they need your services.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't actually, I get accountancy services at the moment. I know it's all done for me, it's done. I don't run a huge organisation at the moment. I don't need that much. So it's not really that beneficial for me to know that much more. I also don't own an electric vehicle or anything, but I saw the other day the accountancy firm that does personally brand really well and shows up was sharing a video on information on EVs and how if you had one of those with the tax, something about the tax and something else.
Yeah, the benefits.
The benefits. I don't even have an EV, and I wanted to watch their video. And I was like, why am I watching it? I don't even have an EV, but it drew me in.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And I was interested in it, and it was valuable to me, even though I don't have one. But if I get one in the future, I know that then could benefit me. And I know, but I'd also then go, and I do go to them for my accountancy needs because I trust them. Because they are showing it and they're giving me value and they're giving me so much. So actually, when I need their services, I go to them. So it works.
And then the spider's web of it as well is that fact or whatever you learn about EVs that you didn't think was relevant content to you at the time, but you still stayed and listened. I guarantee in the next week that will come up in conversation with someone where you'll go, I didn't know about this about EVs. You'll find someone where it works to tell them and share that. And you'll
refer them
you'll
on
link
and
it back.
Together. So the sale might not happen from that person that's watched that content, but that person that watched the content might tell somebody else to then watch it, and then they
so
might
indirect.
There's another person on LinkedIn that I follow who is a company that what do they do? They manage properties for people, for landlords, property management. I don't have a property to manage. Every time they put content out because it's valuable and it's sharing information on what landlords would need to know or how they could help them and stuff. But again, in a value-led way, I'm there soaking it up. And I'm like, I don't even have a property, but I am interested, I'm intrigued. One day I might. But again, if I then hear at a networking event or a friend says, oh, I need this help with, I'm fed up of managing this property on my own. This is coming in, blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, I know just the person for you. I'm going to send them your way. So again, it's like that subtlety of the messaging that you're sharing and that guiding people. The ripples of that could be really beneficial for your sales.
Absolutely.
Really beneficial. So it's well worth doing. And I like the way that you worded like the hero part of it as well. Like I think a lot of us, because we're in it, we're doing it. It's hard to put us on the outside. It's hard to put us in our audiences. So we do come across like that, but we don't mean to. But it is trying as best we can to look at it from the outside. And again, maybe this is where you need a trusted friend or someone who is your ideal audience, who's not you. To take an audit with you and have a little look at your content and maybe think, how does it make them feel? Would they resonate with it or not? How could they connect more with it? What would they like to see more from you to enable them to connect more? So maybe asking someone, because we don't know all the answers.
Now, to be ultra clear and transparent, we're not asking people to not sell. In terms of, we've talked about hard selling, soft selling, changes of pattern and things like that. If you're running your personal brand and it's fairly new to you, it's probably nice to hear that actually you don't want to be going in sell and lots of promotional offerings and that. We're using our personal brand to create those personal connections, but we do have to know at what point in the journey somebody is ready to now actually initiate, almost press that little switch of, let's tell them a little bit more about the service, you know, before they ask, or let's tell them about what the pricing is, you know, and not be afraid to do that. You know, it's not going to feel like selling at this point because we've already got them along the journey to this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've given lots of value. We're sharing a bit more about us so people get to know, like, and trust us.
Yeah.
The selling part then, you can weave it in.
Yeah.
But that's the key, isn't it? It's the weaving it in. It's not every post is a hard sell. It's you've told this, you've built the story up about this, you've shown them what it looks like behind the scenes to do this. Then do you want to include a little bit of a soft sell in a post, or in your next post? Do you want to offer a promotion or something? Because you've warmed your audience up. And again, I think it takes it back to that almost like as a rough rule and a rough guide. If people want something to follow, that 3 to 1.
Yeah.
So if you've given out 3 pieces of value and it's been storytelling and it's been great and people have got something to it, maybe your next one is, I gave you this value. If you can't fix it yourself, if you can't do it yourself, if you can't, like, we do that for people, and this is how we do that for people. Again, being the guide.
Yeah.
If you'd like it, like, have a chat with us.
Yeah.
If you want some more information about it to see if it might be a fit for you or not, let's talk.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a buy my thing and the links and the give us a call buy. Let's talk. Let's discuss if it's right for you.
Yeah.
By this point, people will have known about it. They would have thought, oh, I do need this. I might be able to do this myself. Oh, no, I can't do this myself. Oh, actually, yeah, it's worth a chat.
Yeah.
It's worth a chat with them about it, yeah. So that might be then the one that leads them over the edge with it. So again, it's softer. It's not just buy my thing, but it's still a call to action, because you do need them to have that chat with you.
Yes.
You do need them to, you need to know as well if they're there for a chat or if they actually want your thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And if you've shared the right kind of content that we've sort of discussed, where you are offering true value, any conversations that evolve from that process, you know that they've already invested so much in you. You know, you mentioned the know, like, and trust. We've already gotten to that point that actually now the sales should be fairly easy and not feel uncomfortable to do. It shouldn't feel like, oh God, now I've got to do the thing. It actually should be a case of going, oh, well, they've asked all the right questions and they've asked me how much it is and when can I do it. So actually it's now just over them to say, let's do it.
And they have a problem that I can fix with this.
Yeah.
So instead of, we've said this before in a previous episode, we're very British. We don't like to sell. We don't like to do all of this. But what if, by you not selling at that point, you're not serving them, you're not helping their issue, you're not helping their problem.
Yeah, you've got the solution.
You know they've got a problem. You've just let them go. Off you trot then.
Keeping it in your pocket, aren't you?
I gave you some value. You just sort it out yourselves. Like, off you go. Hold on. They know they can do it themselves, but they can't. They've come to you now. They can't do it themselves. How about instead of feeling like it's selling then, you're helping them?
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, Toby, oh my gosh, my images at the moment are rubbish, or I need this, I need a professional look for that. Like, I just don't know what to do. Like, can you help?
And I tell you how to take a selfie.
And you're like, how to take a selfie and go and do it myself. I'm like, well, yeah, but I know I can do that, but I don't want to do that. I want it professional. I want.
Or what's worse is always telling you what I would do to help you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like going back to the posing and things like, well, you know, you can do this, you can do that. If you came in the studio, I'd do this.
Yeah.
And then just walk away.
Yeah.
And not actually invite you to do it. Yeah. So it's almost like,
how about we have a brand shoot and I help you out with that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, that would be amazing.
It's reaching that hand out, isn't it? To go, it's all right. I'll take you.
Yeah.
I'll take you on my way.
And it doesn't feel like you've been sold to as the person that's buying either.
Yeah.
Because you genuinely need that support and that help as well. And we do need things. We need food, we need water, we need stuff to help our businesses, we need marketing, we need photos, we need help with lots of different things in our lives, and we earn wages so that we can buy things as well. So we're all buying things all the time. So why are we so afraid to make a sale to people that need our stuff, that have money to buy what we have to offer as well?
Yeah.
It's such a crazy world that we live in, isn't it? So today's action step then is to create a list of some soft calls to action that you could start using in your content. So once you've got a list, then the next time you create a post and you tell your audience a story or you offer them some value and you feel like it's appropriate, you could put one of these calls to action in that post and then you have it there all ready to go. And then hopefully people will do what you've asked them to do as well.
So join us next time on the Brand You podcast, where we'll be talking about personal branding for introverts. So if you like hiding in the corner, it'll be a good episode for you. Make sure that you connect with us on social media and LinkedIn, Caz and I, and we'll be sure to answer any questions you might have about building your personal brand.
Here's to branding you.